All right, hello and welcome back, everyone. I'm really glad to see you guys back for day 2 of the Accelerator Week program. Hopefully, you guys can hear me loud and clear. Our Accelerator team is back on the call as well. So, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, they're monitoring the chat feed as we speak to make sure that everyone's okay and good and dandy. So this is day 2, August 20th of the Accelerator Week. So as you guys know, yesterday was an intense series of content and sessions, and today will not be any different. We'll have more content and programming for you. Yesterday, we tried to wait a little bit longer for people to pretty much catch up and try to get logged in on the call. But today, we're just going to get right back on track and keep it moving. And so as a reminder, last week again was orientation. Yesterday we had day 1 of the program. All right, so let's get started. So as stated before, the GSC Global Accelerator is a 3-month program to help you really scale your businesses and your ideas. And so with that said, as an entrepreneur, some of you are very far along in your companies who've been around for a couple of years, found traction, funding, and are doing pretty well. Some of you are in your infant stages. Some of you are freelancers and still trying to figure things out. Our Accelerator program, we try to accept companies or potentials and founders with potential at different stages of their businesses, because we do believe that you guys can learn and grow from each other as well. This is why the biggest value proposition of GSC, in addition to the program itself and the speakers that come on, is really you guys, right? I've been monitoring the WhatsApp community threads and the Facebook community threads. You guys are on fire, sharing insights and information, sharing resources, sharing advice, sharing even opportunities to meet up with each other. So it's really nice to see that. Please continue to do that, because like I said, you guys are pretty much a family network as it stands. And so to give you guys, again, a brief on who we are, my name, again, is Christine and Tim. I'm the host for the 2019 Accelerator program. For any alumni that's on the program, they already know this. Once you're part of the Accelerator community, you're pretty much a part of it for life. So even though, let's say next year your company progresses and you want access to the community, you still be able to come through the Accelerator program as well. So I wear several different hats, but at GSC, as one of the partners of the GSC company, I manage the accelerators and the summits. Einstein is a managing partner of the Africa Future Fund. He focuses on funding and resources for companies that he invests in across the continent. And so these are 2 different ways for you guys to connect with us. Welcome you guys to the GSC Digital Accelerator. As a reminder, GSC is the largest accelerator program on the planet, with 1,000 companies a year across 90 countries doing the program. This year, we received companies from 82 different countries. So very, very diverse group. You guys are already aware of the fact that we work with a lot of different partners. And of course, we have 7 regions that we really try to promote in this program. Some of you are part of the Africa cohort, some of you are part of the Caribbean, but you guys are coming from different countries and different regions. Already told you guys from last week during the Accelerator program that the journey of GSC has not been easy. It definitely has been a crazy journey. From the first time during my pregnancy, when I learned how to code in 3 weeks, built my first site, and then started off in 2016 with the first cohort with 500 companies. Following year, transitioned into 700 companies, and then to 1,000 companies as of last year. This year as well, we've actually transitioned and have accepted 1,000 companies. Previous speakers and judges, which you'll be meeting with over the course of the entire week, have all different types of backgrounds and expertise, and all of them will come online. Some of them will have video talks, some of them will have PowerPoint talks. So each speaker has their expertise that they will be sharing with you during the course of the week. And of course, as we expanded, many of you who are part of the GSC community have demanded that we continue to engage you guys throughout the year. So now we have digital chapter meetups, all different topics are shared. And of course, I said this last week that we'll share with you opportunities for you to be a chapter leader if you're interested in leading a chapter in your community. So I also want to stress again that not only do we have online accelerator programs, we also run these summits around the world. Some of you are in these countries that we're coming to, so we're excited to meet you guys in person this year. And as we expand to other summits in different regions around the world, hopefully we can continue to have pretty much GSC, what I call family reunions around the world together, so we could catch up and meet up in person. Now, I want to transition now that you have an overview of GSC. Again, that was a very quick recap because last week you already had the orientation. I want to focus now on 2019 announcements and updates because, like I said, you guys are sending us a lot of inquiries and questions and comments about the program. So I just want to clarify a couple of things before we transition into the program. So wanted to again welcome all of you guys to the 4th annual GSC Digital Accelerator. Going back to the agenda and the calendar for the GSC Accelerator this week. Yesterday, I stated we had 3 intense sessions. One on how to create really powerful plans, ideation plans, business plan, and execution plans. Part 2 of that was really how to build an app from scratch with limited resources. And the 3rd session yesterday was really centered around how to legitimize your company, how to incorporate, how to really get access to business credit, opportunities for really getting perks and grants as a company. And then of course we had our guest speaker, Christy DePaul from Inc. magazine, who had pretty much a 45-minute session with all of you about how to articulate your message, how to really be powerful with your experiences when you express the heart of what your company does and what you do as an entrepreneur. Today is day 2 of the program. We have another 3 hours in store for you in terms of action-packed content and training. Just want to say again, my name is Christine and Tim. Some of you guys have started following me on Instagram and LinkedIn. Yes, that is where I drop a lot of my personal videos regarding content like this and other content. So I'm happy to be back again to do another series of training on the call with you guys today. Again, you could check me out at Christine and Tim. And today we're going to go over customer acquisition and growth hacking, which is something that's going to actually be broken up into 3 different parts today because it's a really intense session. We get a lot of excitement and engagement for this. And so it's going to be broken down into 3 different parts today. So hopefully you guys are ready for that. And everyone knows in order for you to truly, truly be considered an entrepreneur, you have to have customers. I mean, you can't do anything without customers. So over the next, pretty much hour and a half, I'm going to break this session into 3 parts. So for the next hour, I'll go over the first 2 parts of the session, which goes over what is growth hacking, where it all began, where did it start, and where did it scale to be a constant that we know of today. Part 2 will be pretty much how do you get yourself prepared to create a company that's prepared to accelerate as quickly as possible to get as many customers. So I'll talk about how to create real good pipeline of customers, how to create great goals, how to optimize your product so that way you're not always doing the work to sell every single product to each customer, how to track and measure consistently so you can optimize your business. And in part 3, we'll talk about experimentation, the top ways to actually optimize your customer funnel and really gain and get market share as quickly as possible. And in the midst of the next 2 hours that we still have left together as a cohort, we'll have a speaker come on for 30 minutes from HubSpot to talk about growth marketing as well. So it's going to be a lot of content around how to attract customers, how to keep them engaged, how to keep them excited. One quick housekeeping announcement as a reminder, the session just now with UM, please send your votes and your feedback to UM because if you like the content that you shared, that's how we invite these speakers back, but that's also how we give you more content on that subject. So without further ado, I'd like to transition to customer acquisition, how to get your first 10,000 users, aka growth hacking. Let us begin. So you guys ready for me? Say yay or nay on the chat feed. I just want to make sure everyone's excited. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Let me know you guys have the energy to keep going. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, you guys are ready. So let's go. Let's go. So let's start with what is growth hacking. I think some of you might already know of this. Some of you may never heard of it. regardless where you're at, I've always said this from yesterday, right? Have humility with your learning. Even if you're an expert where you're based, like some of you are Silicon Valley based companies, you probably have heard this term over and over and over. Some of you might be based in another part of the world, never even heard of it. All I ask is that you all have the humility to start from square one. What actually is growth hacking and what does it mean, right? So by definition, growth hacking is experiment driven marketing. Let me explain. So we live in a completely different time when it comes to attracting customers to buy our products and buy our services. Back in the day, right, if you had a business idea to get access to customers or reach people that you want to purchase or engage with you as your company, you did the typical advertisement processes. You probably get a flyer. You probably post an advertisement protocol in the newspaper. Maybe if you had enough money, you did a billboard. Maybe you had more money, you did commercials, so on and so forth. But now we live in the digital age and advertisements are not enough. Customers are now more skeptical. Customers now have tons of more options, and customers also know how to do research on what really is a good product and a service, and are able to really pick your competitors over other people. So you're living, even though it's easier to find customers, it's harder to really grow your customer base, right? And so validation in the market is very needed, and data is a central part of strategy now when it comes to building a marketing strategy for attracting customers over time. So usually, when we think about the ingredients for building a structure to really hack, and when we say hack, right? Hacking is when you find a shortcut. That's all hacking is, right? How do you find a shortcut? Or if something takes, let's say, 10 years to do, so how to do you in a year? If it takes, 9 hours to find one customer, how do you find that customer in an hour, right? So hacking by definition, all it actually means is how do you accelerate something and find a shortcut? So when someone says growth hacking, that's mean how do you accelerate and find a shortcut to building your scaling your company as rapidly as possible? So usually the ingredients for having a product that people virally spread to their family, their friends, their network, so you can get more customers at a faster pace is one, having a great product that people are willing to pay for. A lot of people say, oh, well, I know how to do email marketing. I know how to do social media marketing. All these things are great, but if you don't have a product that people are willing to engage for, it doesn't matter. So, for example, a lot of people might think, oh, well, Gmail and all these different things are free, but Google has also monetized some of its emails, so it has a freemium model, right? So people are willing to pay for that, right? Even if you give something for free, sometimes things free are not even worth it, right? So what as a product are you creating that people have value in, right? Great creative strategies to amplify exposure. Distribution is key. You may have the best music artists today in the music industry. For some of you who are music artists, if you are a great artist, it doesn't matter if you don't have a distribution strategy. How are people going to hear your music? Back in the day, if you couldn't get on the radio, that was it for your career, which is why people signed on to labels. Nowadays, you could drop your song on YouTube, on Facebook, right? You could drop it on iTunes. So distribution, how do you get the word out there for your customers? And we'll talk about that later on. And then having a team that is able to optimize your user base, so that way, let's say you have 5 customers. If you're not able to make those 5 customers happy, you're not going to expand to 10, 20, 30, 40. So at the very basics, we need to have a basic understanding of what growth hacking is and how do you get started with understanding the strategies around growth hacking. All right. So now let's talk about the history of growth hacking. So because sometimes when it comes to growth hacking and trying to accelerate very quickly to get access to customers and certain influencers, there are a list of people who are really accredited. And I won't say they coined the term, but they're accredited to this industry and through to this reality that people are saying when it comes to building and finding customers. So Sean Ellis, as it's been deemed, is the person who coined it in 2010, right? So he's the quote unquote original growth hacker. So he's the one that came up with the concept of how to accelerate and find shortcuts for finding customers. So his website is growthhackers.com. You could track him, follow his newsletter, follow what he's doing, and you get all these different really cool tips as to how to growth hack. Neil Patel is also another really great influencer in the space. He's the co-founder of Crazy Egg, Kissmetrics. If you can follow him on neilpatel.com. Seth Godin is also another great influencer. Rand and Nicole, also many influencers in the space. But these are about 5 pioneers that people, when it comes to like how to find really great hacking tools, strategies, insights, tips, tricks, secrets to try to find customers rapidly, these are the 5 influencers that you need to follow. Even me, myself, I actually follow Neil Patel often, try to get tips and strategies from him. I follow his newsletter religiously. So these are people that if you want to find really good tools to optimize your social media pages or optimize your website, they're really good for that. All right. So now let's talk about, now that you know the influencers, if this is something very new and you wanted to get the basics, a lot of times people have said that I'm just going to hire a growth hacker. You got to have this whole mindset of finding customers, optimizing your processes at the core tenet of your business. And there are guideposts to help you with that. So step 1 would be try to download quitspot.com. They have a definitive guide to growth hacking. It's a series of chapters for free to show you how to understand the basis of growth hacking. It's 102 pages of content. Okay, read that packet. Second thing is have a mentor. And sometimes it's very hard to find people who are influencers because now growth hackers are hired everywhere. I myself, I'm a growth hacker. So people usually solicit advice from me as to how to get visibility on my event, how to get visibility on my product, how to get visibility on my initiative. I'm a big growth hacker. And so a lot of the things that I do that went viral and spread is because I know the strategies and hacks, but obviously I have my own businesses to run. I have my own initiatives to run. So I'm not as accessible. But there's a community where you can find growth hackers who make themselves accessible to the public. And they have something called Ask Me Anything sessions every week. The 2 sites for that is growthhackers.com and Growth Hackers Guide. So these are 2 websites where if you want to find growth hackers who are giving, pretty much Q&A sessions as to advice as to how to like find customers and scale, they're very, very accessible every single week during these Ask Me Anything sessions. Step 3 is to really look at, boot camps, webinars, articles, and search engines that actually give the top growth hacking tips. And so SEJ or Search Engine Journal, every single year, they give an epic list of the top growth hacking strategies for startups. And this is them pretty much interviewing growth hackers from all over around the world and get insights, and they do webinars and content. It's definitely a list that I look at every single year. They usually publish it at the beginning and at the end of the year. So they usually publish it twice. So definitely, if you want to get started on this journey of being your own growth hacker for your business, that could be the founder, the salesperson, the marketing person, these are 3 things to keep note of. So the PDF guide, the Ask Me Anything sessions on the website, and their lists of top hacks from around the world. Then if you want to take it a step further and actually really train and optimize and learn from people who have done it before, some of you might know about 500 Startups. They're one of the top accelerator programs in the world. Every accelerator has this unique value proposition. So GSC, we're the global startup ecosystem. We're not like Y Combinator or Techstars or Mass Challenge. Our unique value proposition is accessibility, which is why we target emerging markets. And we have 1,000 companies that do the program every single year. And second, our value proposition is digital. We want to make sure that it doesn't cost someone to move and relocate to have access to content and experts like what we do in this program. So if you look at, value proposition of Techstars or Y Combinator, Mass Challenge, or even 500 Startups, their unique value proposition is really being top experts on growth hacking and marketing. And every single year, at the beginning of the year, they have something called Marketing Hell Week. And they talk about acquisition, how to generate traffic, how to activation, how to activate leads, retention, how to really create customer relationships, and how to have a CRM management system, referral experience, viral effect, revenue growth. If you want updates on their accelerator program, which is free, by the way, to the public, go to growth.500.co. Highly recommend it. So going back, this is how you get started with content. This is how you actually go through our official program that actually talks about this scale. I myself am going through our version of growth hacking and training you guys on this process. But again, 500 Startups has a whole week training people on just growth hacking alone. So highly recommend that you guys sign up for that program. So I'm going to take a pause and talk about, again, when you think about growth hacking, it really is something to really break down. It's pretty much where marketing and engineering finds that sweet spot in the middle, where they're experimenting and find the sweet spot to really target their audience. Because as a marketer, you're just putting your stuff out there, and as engineering your mindset, you're trying to really find the right target, analytical, looking at the demographics of your customers. We just had our previous speaker speak on the call today about segmentation and targeting. The reason why it was so crucial to have that speaker come first before talking about growth hacking is because he's talking about the engineering and targeted element of finding your customer. How do you engineer yourself in a way where, as a company, you know where to find your customers? When you know where to find your customer, let's say you're a party planner. Obviously, you're not going to find your customers at a grocery store, right? Most likely, you're going to find your party customers at festivals, at clubs, at parties. And so if you go there, then you know exactly how to market to them. So that's on the other side of this graph, where you know exactly what to tell them. This is what to expect. These are the updates. These are the flyers. And then when you find the sweet spot, where you find your target customer and you know what to say to that target customer, you find success. And you're able to experiment to optimize your process. So growth hacking, part of it is understanding how to find your customer and give them the right mesh of marketing information and product to make them happy, but it's also how to optimize that. So that target customer that you found, you know how to find them over and over and over and over again. Because part of the reason why, as a founder, sometimes we're not successful with customer acquisition is because we don't know how to find the right customer. So you spend so much work and effort trying to find your customers, and you're experimenting. You go into this event, you go into this program, you go into this expo, you go into these workshops, you do this exhibitor session, and you're doing too much. If you know how to find your customers, you know how to find success. Okay? So before I really begin on how to actually optimize, growth hacking, the first half of the session, I want to start by recapping that over the past 10 minutes, I pretty much was making sure that you guys are in the right mindset and mind frame around what growth hacking is. Right? The definition, the history, the influencers, the resources that you need to really dive into this topic of growth hacking and customer acquisition. Now we're going to transition into how to actually prepare your business to be a funnel for actual business. Because some of you want customers, but you're not prepared for it, right? You're prepared for like maybe incremental customers. And some of you already have a revenue stream, right? Because again, a lot of you on the program that were accepted are already getting revenue traction, but still want to optimize. So I want to start by saying, are you even prepared with huge, crazy traffic? I think we're a case study in this. GSC, this is our 4th annual program. We have done this every single year. Our site never crashed like this, right? So were we prepared for the traffic yesterday? We were not. We thought we had, over the course of last week, we prepared for it. We optimized our website. We optimized our social media channels. We were not prepared for the traffic. We had millions of people coming to the website, and we weren't prepared for it. So when I tell you this, I'm telling you this not only from a point of a host training you on this, I'm speaking from experience. So the first thing that I will say is website. Is your website prepared for the traffic? Second, does your website have all the information needed for someone to sign up, to engage, to follow up, to contact, So your website has to have all those things ready, so that way you're not losing customers. Social media, is all your social media pages in alignment with information as to what's going on, right? And Google Analytics, do you have Google Analytics tracking traffic to your website? Right? For us, we know exactly where the traffic was coming from because we have Google Analytics on our website, right? How many of you on the call actually have Google Analytics on your website to track all tracking activity? And this is all for free, right? And so before you begin any growth hacking strategy, because growth hacking does start with campaigns and activations, you need to make sure you're prepared for all of it. So just want to make sure I reiterate that before we begin. So to share with you the agenda for what I'm going to go over today, I'm first going to talk about the planning phase, how to prepare for growth hacking, how to get yourself out there in terms of really building a company that's robust and ready for the traffic. So I'll talk about pipeline and goals, product optimization, and how to track and measure goals. Then we'll have a brief break, and then we'll transition to experimentation. This is where I share with you the secret sauce, right? How to optimize your conversion rate. I'll teach you content marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, how to get your site submitted to certain traffic websites, paid advertising, and of course, end with how to fake the hype, how to get people to really be engaged with what you're doing. All right.